And hello, welcome to the show. It is Sunday. I was going to say February, but it's not February. It is March 14th, 2021. Hello. Hi, Zach. How's it going?
Hello.
So, we were just having a brief conversation. We talked about servers and other stuff the other day, but apparently no big updates. I was telling Zach, though, that one of my biggest issues I've been running into with my virtualization server is memory. So, although supposedly the way that Linux reports memory is a little goofy. So, did I talk about this already?
I don't believe so. I've never heard of anything like that.
So, okay, let's just pick a system.
I don't exactly fancy myself a Linux expert, but
I'm not really a Linux expert either. My understanding, well, let's share this real quick here. So my understanding is here, right? So this is Kelvin. This is my web server, right? And it shows that it is using almost half of its memory, right? Right now, about 43%. Here's the thing about that, though. So that seems a bit high, doesn't it?
Perhaps.
For a web server that's pretty much just doing nothing, right? Sudo apt install htop. I need to install something real quick here. So supposedly what happens is that there we go. Okay. Pull this up side by side here. All right, so this is called htop, right? Oh, so maybe it actually is using more than I think it is using. It's using 487 megabytes worth of the 2 gigs of memory it has. So this factor actually might be pretty accurate here, actually. But my understanding is, let's take something like Plex, which is literally doing nothing right now. Okay, fine. This might actually be reporting pretty decently right now. But my understanding is that one of the things that Linux will do is apparently it's very good at managing memory. And so it'll say, hey, I've got 2 gigs worth of memory allocated to myself, right? And it will just fill up that memory. But not all of it is being used for like application storage and, and stuff that's running. Supposedly it uses the extra unused memory space as a cache.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, so it reports that it's using a high amount of memory when it really isn't. That can be a thing.
Well, it sounds to me like the way you describe it is it's basically is like, well, this memory is not getting used. I might as well do something with it.
Yeah, basically.
And as soon as a higher priority use for the memory comes up, it's like, all right, you can have it back.
Yeah, basically. Let's see what this is doing. So here's the Plex server. Yeah, that might be right about on par with what it's actually saying. So this is saying 876 megabytes, and this is saying 727 megabytes. So, but I've seen this where this right here in Proxmox has been reporting way higher than what is actually being used. So, well, there's quite a bit in the swap file, though. I don't know why there's so much in the swap file. But anyway, I don't understand Linux necessarily in terms of how it is utilizing its memory. But like if we look at Nebula here, look at this. Like over half my memory is being used, and each of these systems is only allocated 2 gigs of memory. So, Let's see. So Andromeda 2, Hesper 2, Bellatrix isn't even on. Kelvin is 2. Plex is 4, I believe. Yeah, 4. So like, and then obviously the hypervisor's using some memory too, but like, you know, what's using up so much memory, basically. So, this is dangerous. I probably shouldn't do this. So one little quirk of Proxmox is that when you launch the shell for the Proxmox system itself, you are root. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this. This is saying I'm using 20 gigabytes out of like my 32 gigabytes. So I don't know. Linux is weird. But that's something I noticed. What was I doing the other day? Oh, I'll get out of this. Leave the page. There we go. So I've installed a couple different flavors of Linux on here. One of which is Kali Linux. How much do you know about Kali Linux, Zach?
I know what it does.
I know what it does too. I just haven't played around enough with it yet. Oops, get rid of that. So there's some pretty cool tools in here that I don't necessarily know everything about. Oh yeah, that's right. It expands it when I log in. But yeah, so apparently this is the Linux distribution for hackers with all these different tools and stuff in it that I have no idea how to use at all. So anyway, so there's that, right? And then Raspbian. Because I was playing around with some stuff. Apparently Raspbian is kind of an annoying operating system to work with because apparently every time you change something, you have to freaking reboot it. So anyway, but Raspbian is basically Debian with a skin on it, basically, or like a custom like GUI, basically. That's what my understanding is. So anyway, so that's the latest with that. Oh, and is it that? I have a new NAS too.
Did you set that up on your server?
No. Oops. What am I doing? This is the part of the show where I can't hit the right buttons. There we go. No, this is a Synology NAS is what this is.
Where'd you get that?
Where I get everything? My friendly neighborhood Amazon.
That's fair enough, I guess.
So 4 terabytes worth of storage on it. Well, actually, so 4 terabytes running in RAID 1. So I have a redundant disk inside of it, basically. So I can lose one of my disks, I'll still be fine. And then, as I talked about, what was it? Backblaze, I believe, will let me upload unlimited amounts of data from this thing for like $60 a year. It's like pretty cool. I think that's Backblaze. Let's see. Backblaze. Personal backup. Pricing. Yeah, $60 a year. That's for one device, though. But obviously, if I'm storing most of my stuff on the NAS, it makes a lot of sense. So, anyway. Because essentially what the Synology NASs are, they're basically a Linux computer.
Yes.
So anyway, so
I'm aware of that.
That's pretty nice to have. I've got all my Plex media and stuff on here right now. So oops, gosh, I just cannot hit the right buttons today. There we go. Let's try that. It's like I forgot how to run my own web show, basically. Which is sad because I'm the one who set all this stuff up. But yeah, so those are kind of the updates for this week. All that fun stuff. So, oh, and I've been looking into this too. So one of the things, how much do you know about audio, Zach? Absolutely nothing.
Not very much.
So one of the big things that has been around for a while now, and not just in audio, but like video as well and other things like that, right? Is everything digital these days, right? So kind of looking at this guy right here. We have like a somewhat ancient, like probably from the 90s, honestly, like mixing console in our church audio cabinet, basically. It hasn't been updated in like years. Like, I kid you not. Some of that stuff is like literally from like when I was born.
Okay, what benefits do you get from this?
So this is digital, right? So one of the first things that I get is an Ethernet jack. Now, what do you think the Ethernet jack allows me to do?
Well, network?
Exactly. So what I can do is I can throw this guy on the network, give it an IP address, and I can download an app on a tablet. And because you'll notice there's no physical switches or anything on this, right? It's just literally an interface that you plug your audio devices into, and then you use the app, whether it's on a computer or on a tablet, to actually control this. Which means that what we can do is we can keep this in the closet, locked up, hooked up to everything, right? And then control it using an app or whatever, right? And one of the benefits to this is that we can, because currently, if we need to make adjustments midstream, we have to go to the closet and actually adjust it. This would allow us to have a second device or something like that in the same room that we're doing all the live streaming from, and then control each individual audio source right there over the network. So, yeah, digital audio is a really cool thing. This is one of the cheaper solutions that I've found. And this thing's pretty beefy. It gives us, this is a little overkill, probably for what we need. It gives us 16 channels worth of audio, like inputs. And then we have we have a set of main outputs right here, right, for our main audio. But then we can also have all these little auxiliary sends out too. So like the live stream audio, we could send out one of the auxiliary buses here, basically. I think they call them buses. But outputs here. And we could set that to a different audio level than what's coming out of the main audio level here, basically. So, or you could do other fun things where you could drop specific audio sources out of some of these auxiliary sends, basically. That's useful in a case where you want to do something like a mix minus. So we're talking kind of over the top audio at that point, more than what we actually would need. Although we are doing that in our social hall right now. So we have a laptop in there that sends audio through HDMI up to a projector, and then it comes from the projector back down over Cat5e. That comes into our mixing console, and so we can have a Zoom meeting on this computer, and then we have a microphone attached to the mixer console, and so we can send that audio out to the speakers in the social hall, but not send the audio back to. So this is something that I would essentially do at some point if I bought a little mixer. I would actually be able to backfeed audio somehow. I'd have to figure out how to get it all set up. But the theory would be to be able to backfeed audio from my computer to you without you hearing yourself. Because that'd be super annoying. So, anyway. But yeah, so this is something that I've been looking at. I don't know everything there is to know about audio, but I'm a little bit of an audio geek, so enough to be able to do some cool things. Now, whether or not this will actually happen, I have no idea. One of the other cool things about this, though, is that there's a little switch on here, so you can actually flip this into, it has like its own built-in modem, basically, or router. That's what the little antenna's here for. So it can create its own little Wi-Fi network. If you didn't want to put it on your main network. So that's kind of neat. And then it's got USB output as well. That's one of the new things. So it's basically got a little like DAC built into it, digital audio converter. So, yeah. But those are some of the cool things that we can do these days. It's like how modern radio studios work too. They've got their setups are a little bit different. They've got like a little box probably somewhere back in a server rack where all the stuff hooks in. That attaches to your network with an Ethernet cable. And then they have what's called a control surface. So it looks like a mixer console, but there's basically nothing inside of it. And you just plug an Ethernet cable into the back of it and it's on the network. So, and it allows you to do some really cool things like each talent can have that's one of the cool things about this one too is like let's say I've got something plugged into line 1, right? I wouldn't necessarily have to have that fader in that position. I can move the faders around wherever I want in the software. And it has no correlation to where they are actually plugged in necessarily on the device itself or the actual input device. So you can do fun things like that too. So maybe there's a couple of things that you adjust like all the time. You can just move them around or whatever. So digital audio, it's cool. It's cool technology. You can do this with video too. So like when I worked in TV, our video switcher was all digital. So it literally had a bunch of buttons on it, and the thing's super, super light because there's like no electronics inside of it. It's just basically, it's like a little computer basically, and it talks back to some controller unit, and that's where all the actual switching and stuff happens. So anyway, but yeah. Neato.
Neato.
Yes. So that's a cool thing. Here's another maybe sort of kind of, I don't know. Apple is going to stop selling the iMac Pro base model, which is listed as available while supplies last. We're talking like
Well, it's like it's like a few years old already, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Intel based.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it does. For Apple, of course it means something.
They've only got one piece of Apple silicon out.
I know, and they're wanting to expand it to their whole lineup. Because Intel and its inherent issues, especially when it comes to cooling. You know, who would have thunk? We've talked about that before, you know. Who would have thunk that that CPUs have a hard time performing what they're, you know, the way they're supposed to when they're starved for air? But anyway, I certainly wouldn't have thought of that. Would you?
Thought of what?
That
oh, yeah. Ha ha ha. Right.
So let's see here. And a sign that the iMac Pro is on the way out. The only model currently available for purchase on the Apple Store website is for $4,999.
Well, that's not how you move your old inventory.
That's the base nice configuration, Zach.
Yikes.
While supplies last.
Scamming people. Oh yeah, like the supplies are going quick. They're going fast. Everybody wants to pay $5,000 for this crap.
You know what, though? Okay, I would argue almost, though, that if you're the type of person who's buying a Mac, then you don't necessarily care what the price is.
I don't think that's true.
If you're buying a pro-level Mac?
I mean, maybe, but if you're buying a pro-level Mac, you should expect a pro-level system. And a 3-year-old Mac Pro that has not been updated is not a pro-level system.
I would also possibly argue that the people who are buying Macs are the people who just don't care and they're buying it as a status symbol.
Then why are they buying a pro, quote-unquote, level Mac?
Because it has the word pro in it.
With supposedly high-spec hardware.
Because it has the word pro in it. Oh, it's pro. It's for pro use.
I really have a hard time believing that anyone is truly that stupid.
I feel like Apple is kind of the brand for people who just don't necessarily understand. And okay, look, I'm sure there are people who do understand hardware and hardware specs and things like that, but I feel like a lot of Apple's base doesn't necessarily understand that stuff. They're just buying it because it's a status symbol. I could be wrong.
I don't know, that just seems bonkers to me, because if you think about it, right, like, you know, status symbol or not, you don't buy something that you don't have a use for.
I bought a MacBook Pro and I didn't have a use for it. I just bought a MacBook Pro because it was a MacBook Pro and it was a status symbol. And I knew the MacBook Pro.
But you used it.
A download. Eventually I did when I was doing some sort of video editing, but that's not initially why I bought the MacBook Pro. I could have gotten away with the MacBook Air.
What I mean is you didn't buy it for it to sit on a shelf like a trophy.
Oh, no. I bought it to use it, but...
Right.
What I'm saying is people are buying these to use them, yes, but I don't know if necessarily the whole entire... Some, but I would argue that there's probably a large base of... Although that could be more on the normie side of it. A large base of Apple's user base that just doesn't necessarily understand or care about specs. They are buying it because... brand recognition, and it is, again, a status symbol.
I just find it hard to believe that there are that many people who just drop $5,000, like, who drop the extra money for the Pro model just because of that.
People bought the new Mac Pros, the cheese grater looking ones, that cost almost as much as a car, Zach. Granted, it was in professional, like professional studio stuff.
Maybe were bought for businesses and things like that.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're doing something like that, you're probably not necessarily looking at the price.
Well, you were saying that as if, just some random person.
Oh, no.
Without any like business to do on it or anything. Like just go and buy this because it's better. Or whatever. Okay. Because it must be better.
I'm sure that there is a user base that is like that. But
surely there aren't that many people making such foolishly uninformed decisions with $5,000.
Okay. I thought maybe I made that clear, but maybe not. That's where I was going with that, is that if you're buying a system like this, more than likely it is going to be for some kind of business use case, right? And in that case, you probably don't necessarily care what the price is. To some degree, you probably do, but you're probably buying it I don't know. Anyway. There are still going to be people who buy a $5,000 Mac because it is a Mac.
Yeah, there are. Those are the exception, though, really.
Every
product has.
What are you talking about? Look at okay, well, cell phones are kind of a bad example because they all cost an arm and a leg these days. But I was going to say, look at the people who buy the iPhone 11 iPhone 11 12 Pro Max. They don't need a pro level phone. And yet they buy it anyway.
I would argue that in that case, well, maybe in both cases, really, but more so the iPhone's case, the Pro branding means very little in terms of that, professionals aren't using this.
But they are. That's the thing. It's geared towards
what kind of work? What kind of professional anything are you doing with a phone?
Honestly, they've got like 4K cameras in these things now. You can like shoot 4K video on them.
Okay, but it's not as if normal cameras haven't improved at all.
That's true, but
normal camera,
but for a device that small,
to the task is still going to always be better.
That's true, but think about it, right? A single device that I can carry very easily in my pocket, right, with a 4K camera in it that I can use to do professional work, right?
I don't even know how we got here or where we're going.
Well, we started talking about the base level price being $5,000. That's how we got here. But anyway.
Yeah, that's bonkers.
As first reported by 9to5Mac, all build-to-order configurations for the iMac Pro have been removed from Apple's site, but may still be available at third-party retailers like Amazon. Apple tells The Verge once supplies of the base model run out, iMac Pro will no longer be available. It's not a huge surprise that Apple may be phasing out the iMac Pro. There have been well-sourced reports that the company will be introducing a redesigned iMac and doing a revamp on the Mac Pro sometime this year. It's going to cost an arm and a leg, but anyway, okay. Bloomberg reported in July that the overhaul would get rid of the chin beneath the screen and have a flat back design. Okay. Apple hasn't officially deemed the iMac Pro as discontinued, but it's unusual for the company to use while supplies last in its product listings. In the meantime, the 27-inch iMac introduced in August. Okay, so there's some relatively new ones, it looks like.
They haven't updated the Mac Pro line, though. I think that's the point.
In August is a solid option, Apple says, is popular among professional iMac users. So maybe you're right. Maybe there really isn't much difference between this and the Pro level.
I don't know. I don't even want to talk too much about it because I know almost nothing about the Mac Pro, the Mac anything.
Okay, here you go. Apple launched the iMac.
Them? I don't know. I have no idea.
End users.
So,
Apple launched the iMac Pro in 2017. Yeah, wait, 2017, and they want $5,000?
Yeah, that's probably the stupidest thing about it.
What?
It costs that much money. It's you're buying a 3-4-year-old computer.
Oh, if you think that's hilarious, this is what the article says here, Zach. Apple launched the iMac Pro in 2017 with an eye toward, wait for it, gaming, VR, and high-end editing and graphic work. Actually, you know what? Okay, I'll give it the high-end editing and graphic work.
Gaming on a Mac is like a joke.
Gaming and VR.
Why would you do that on a Mac?
You wouldn't!
God.
It was first unveiled at the Worldwide Developers Conference that year, with Apple touting it as the most powerful Mac ever. Well, yeah, wow. No crap.
Pretty cool.
Replacing the outdated Mac Pro line. Was that the, I think that was the trash can style one, ironically.
Yeah. I love the trash can.
Oh my goodness. I thought it looked cool at the time, and then of course all the memes started coming out about it.
I don't think it looks particularly cool. It just looks like a nightmare to disassemble or service.
I bet you're right.
I'm sure the cheese grater is not much better.
No, the cheese grater is actually pretty easy to open. There's like one latch on the top that you like turn, and then like the side panel comes off. It kind of goes back to the design of the G5, the Mac Pro G5, which I have one in storage, and literally there's a latch on the back that you pull open, and the whole side panel comes off. It's super easy to get into. A lot of the Mac Pro, like the new Mac Pro that I like, from what my understanding is pretty modular. It's surprisingly pretty easy, at least from what I've seen, it's surprisingly pretty easy to work on. Which is kind of uncharacteristic for Apple. But yeah. Oh, apparently there is a rack mount version of the Mac Pro as well.
That's kind of funny.
So yeah. It's basically the Mac Pro, but like turned on its side. And what is it? Probably 4U high or something like that. I'm not actually quite sure, but anyway. Yeah, the trash can looks a little interesting to get into. Did you know Apple made a cube?
Cube?
Yeah, it was a cube, the cube computer. Hang on.
No, I don't really follow what Apple makes.
Oh, come on. You had to have seen this at some... Apple has designed some very strange stuff over the years.
That's because they have to look cool, you know. They have to be different and cool.
Yeah, this guy right here, Zach.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen this?
No, I've never seen that.
You've seen the lamp, though. The lamp computer?
I think so.
Oh, it was the iMac G4. Yeah, this guy.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. That's dumb. Ugh.
I had a summer school program that I went to that had one of these. I mean, it was interesting. Yeah, the like freaking lamp, basically. Anyway. Oh, yeah, this will make you happy, Zach. Let's see. Since 2015, the FCC has defined broadband as reaching a minimum of 25 megabits per second for downloads and 3 megabits a second for uploads. Okay.
Good luck with that.
But now, a bipartisan group of U.S. senators is urging the Biden administration to update the FCC standards to 100 megabits per second for both downloads and uploads, Zach.
Yep. That's good.
You know, whether it'll happen or not, I don't know, but it would be good.
Can we multiply that by 10?
Hey, okay, look, okay. It's not great, but it's not horrible. Like, 100 down, 100 up is pretty decent for most people.
Yeah, I get that you got to take what you can get. I know.
I would argue that that's very, very good for what, honestly, 25 down and 25 down is not horrible.
Now, here's the thing though. We need to get rid of data caps while we're at it.
That's true. Yes.
Or else it's not going to mean anything.
So
if we can't get rid of data caps while we're at it, it's not going to mean anything.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, 4 U.S. senators sent a letter to the heads of the FCC and U.S. Supreme Court Department and Department of Agriculture, which argues that the current federal speed standards are outdated. No, really? They say we strongly urge you to...
Wait. But I thought Ajit Pai says 3 megabits is good enough.
Remember, Ajit Pai is no longer in charge. Anyway, we strongly urge you to update federal broadband program speed requirements to reflect current and anticipated 21st century users, wrote the senators. Let's see. So there's a senator from Colorado, one from Maine, one from Ohio, and one from West Virginia. In the letter, the senators say the broadband speed benchmarks across federal agencies need to be at 100 megabits per second and symmetrical, meaning both the speeds for both downloads and uploads should match. Amazingly, the U.S. Department of Agriculture uses a different benchmark from the FCC to define broadband, requiring speeds to hit a minimum of 10 megabits per second for downloads and a meg for uploads.
Blazing fast right there.
The senators say exceptions on the speed requirements can be granted based on geography, topography. Yep, and unreasonable cost. But it's critical the U.S. do more to expand high-speed internet to underserved areas and close the digital divide. There's no reason federal funding for rural areas should not support the type of speed used by households in typical well-served urban and suburban areas, they added. Citing speed test scores showing average internet speeds in the U.S. hit close to 180 megabits per I don't know where they got these numbers from. 180 megabits for downloads and 65 megabits for uploads.
That's the average?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where they pulled those numbers from.
That seems pretty high. I don't think that's... No way that's the average.
Yeah. Unfortunately, many internet users in rural America have been stuck with internet speeds far slower than under 11 megabits per second, which is constraining their ability to work and study over the world. The FCC didn't immediately respond to a request for comment, but the Commission's acting head, Jessica Rosenworcel, previously advocated for the FCC to update their speed benchmarks to 100 megabits per second back in 2015. So there's maybe some hope here. In the meantime, the FCC has been distributing billions of dollars to internet service providers in the U.S., including Charter Communications and SpaceX, to bring gigabit broadband speeds in the coming years to residents in rural America. I don't know necessarily. Okay, SpaceX is a new and growing company. Charter Communications has been around for a while. I don't necessarily know how much I love the idea that the government is giving these companies billions of dollars.
I'm sure they will definitely use it to do what they said they would.
Exactly. Like, these companies have the money to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway. We'll see. And the battle continues.
No kidding.
There is a different administration in the White House, and I don't want to get too political, right? But there is a different administration in the White House with different ideals than the previous administration. And I would argue that the current administration that we have is, in some areas, because you have to remember, the current administration has ties to not the previous administration, but the administration before that one, which was responsible for net neutrality. So I don't know how much of that is going to cross back over to the current administration that is running things right now. So I don't know what we'll see. I don't know if we'll see net neutrality come back, or some form of net neutrality, or what exactly that looks like. I think it'll be interesting, but we'll see. But yeah, if we could update those standards, I think that would be good. But yeah, I would like to see data caps be a thing of the past. That would be good.
Data caps should universally be a thing of the past. There is no excuse anywhere for data caps.
Yeah. So
there are not a limited number of gigabytes in the world.
Well, clearly, as we saw, because companies were able to lift. Well, okay, look, hang on. So I guess it depends on the infrastructure there, because there were some areas of the world where they were limiting speeds on certain applications like Netflix and other things like that, because there wasn't enough bandwidth. Although I think that was in other countries. And I mean, there isn't necessarily, I guess you can say, there isn't an unlimited tunnel, Zach, but it's a pretty big tunnel.
Of course.
So, anyway. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens, so. Anyway, time for Microsoft news this week. And let's see, what did Microsoft do here? What did I have? Oh yeah, Microsoft starts. This is gonna go so well, Zach. Microsoft starts testing Edge Chromium browser on the Xbox. Because so many people are dying to use Edge on their Xbox, Zach.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't really want to do any kind of web browsing on an Xbox.
Have you ever tried to do web browsing on a smart TV?
Never willingly.
It's horrible.
It is absolutely atrocious.
It is. Now,
it should be a crime how bad it is to try and use a TV remote to manipulate a web browser. What?
I think...
Did no one test this at all? Did not a single person try this and be like, hey, we should see if this works?
I wonder if some... I feel like there are some. Maybe like Samsung has done this. I feel like some of the newer remotes have like a primitive pointing device built in now.
I mean, honestly, they should, the traditional remote should be a thing of the past. It should instead be a keyboard with a touchpad.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Those are available. You can get one.
Or, okay, how about this?
Just be the standard.
How about this? At least the ability to plug in a keyboard and a mouse, or a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse to your device for smart compatibility.
Of course. I mean, a lot of them do that, though. It's not...
Well, Microsoft has started publicly testing its new Edge Chromium-Powered browser on Xbox. Spoiler alert, it's just the Chrome web browser.
Wow, really? I'm shocked.
I know. Microsoft basically says, hey, look, we can't build a web browser to save our rear ends, so we're just going to steal Chrome. And then, add a skin on top of it and call it good. So Xbox testers in the Alpha Skip Ahead group can now... Wow, really? The Alpha Skip Ahead group? Well, okay then. Can now access the new Microsoft Edge on Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X consoles, while full mouse and keyboard support is still missing. Ha ha!
Well, and let's not even forget also that playing games is usually a lot better with a keyboard and mouse as well. In some cases, sometimes it's better to have a controller, and sometimes it's just personal preference. But you'd think that a device whose listed purpose is to play games with would support options.
Okay, well, the browser works as you'd expect with an Xbox controller, albeit a little buggy in this initial test version. Yeah, I bet.
I actually don't know for sure that keyboards and mice are not supported. I should clarify. However, your statement implied that was the case.
It says while full mouse and keyboard support is still missing.
Okay. Yeah, that's that. Then I guess that's that.
So I don't know if that's true. I'm just going off what the article says. A Chromium browser on Xbox is a boost for those wanting to access websites through their console. Really? Who asked for this?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, some people use them like HTPCs, so maybe them. I don't know.
No! Who asked for this?
Not me.
Literally freaking nobody. Look, okay, even the smart TVs that we put a bunch of smart TVs up at the church, and even trying to use the built-in YouTube application.
It's so bad.
On these is horrible. It's gotten so bad that you know what we decided to do instead?
What is
we
that?
literally bought HDMI cables for every single TV at the church so we can just plug a device into them.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yep. My mother does third grade religious education. And so when she wants to watch a video, I just take my laptop or my Chromebook and plug it in using HDMI. So works way better. It's a lot less clunky. Which, come to think of it, I might make the argument that if we still have a couple classrooms that don't have TVs in them, I might just make the argument that we just get regular TVs. Although everything seems to have a smart TV application built into it anyways. At least, I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know if we'll save any money. Let's see. A Chromium browser. Yeah, okay. Edge will also now provide access to Google's Stadia streaming service. All right, there might be something there. Although, didn't Google say that they're basically going to shut that down?
No, but they fired all their in-house developers.
What?
So the writing is on the wall, but it's not dead yet.
Not dead yet. It's just going to be like Google Plus. Remember that? Remember when Google tried to create a social media platform?
Google, Google has a hard time committing to something.
You're kind of right.
Funny, for a company that has just countless billions of dollars, you'd think they could afford to spend some time on it. It's been a year? And they're already that sucked. They didn't even So they recruited all these in-house developers, right, to make exclusive games for Stadia. And then you know what they did? They didn't even let them finish a game. They got bored so fast that the developers hadn't even finished making a game yet before they got fired because Google got bored.
Anyway, so Edge will also, yes, okay, it's going to provide access to Google Stadia streaming service for however long that lasts. Thanks to improved compatibility support with Chromium. Okay, yes, I would expect that. A Google product working with another Google product. Yeah, that's usually expected.
Mind-blowing concept.
Right? It should also improve, unless it's Microsoft.
That's fair.
something graphics cards disappearing out of just randomly disappearing from your device. And many other, software issues on a device that the same company is manufacturing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it should also improve compatibility with browser-based games and services like Skype or Discord through the web. I wasn't aware that people were using these on their Xboxes, but okay, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. The earliest test version appears to include the same sync engine used across Edge with support for extensions, vertical tabs, collections, and most Edge desktop features. Support for the existing legacy version of Microsoft Edge on Windows Desktop ends on March 9th. And Microsoft's testing of this updated browser suggests it will arrive on all Xboxes coming soon. Presumably through a software update, and they'll just force it down on your device. Without your consent.
Probably.
Because, Microsoft is known for doing that. Let's see. What else do I have? We got a couple more minutes here. Oh, yeah. Another gamer phone, Zach.
Oh, God. Those are just insufferable.
Let's see. The first phone's packing 165 hertz AMOLED displays.
Wow. 165 hertz. Interesting number.
Let's see here. Here you go, Zach. There's the picture.
Ugh. What is it?
That's a really good question.
Red
the Nubia
6.
Red Magic 6 series. It's now officially off, or is now official in China.
120 watt charging. God. They just keep putting more and more watts into these things.
Well, this is also only available so far, I think, in China. So,
how does that affect the insane amount of wattage? That
because they use, I think instead of 120, they use 240 or something like that. Or
okay, but that's volts.
Oh,
not
yeah,
watts.
You're right. Okay, yep, yeah. See, this is why I'm not an electrical engineer.
Neither am I.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Ugh.
It does look very gamery.
That's gross.
Let's see. The standard model comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage.
I mean, that's
for
not a bad price.
$587. That's not a horrible price, honestly.
I'd buy a phone that had those specs for that much money if it were less ugly than that.
Put a case on it. The Pro
it's still hideous.
The Pro starts at $680. It comes with 12 gigabytes of memory, 128 gigabytes of storage. And then there's an all-out option for 18 gigabytes of memory. What do you need 18 gigabytes of memory on a phone for?
I don't know.
512 gigabytes of storage. And that one is $1,000, over $1,000. So, yeah.
I mean, it's less expensive than I would have expected, especially with the gamer branding. Usually gamer branding denotes an increased price and a decrease in aesthetic quality. Well,
yeah,
the decrease in aesthetic quality is certainly present, but I don't know.
So
seriously, am I just insane? I don't understand. Am I crazy? Am I the only person who thinks these things are hideous?
I didn't think it looked that awesome, but I would have probably put a case on it.
I wouldn't even use that with a case. It would just bother me to know that under this is that abomination.
Let's see what else real quick here. A couple quick hits. Ford recalls some of the first Mustang March E SUVs due to loose bolts.
That's the electric one, right?
Yep. Ford is recalling dozens of the first Mustang March E deliveries after it discovered loose bolts during the quality checks that are holding up shipments. Ford says...
You mean Mach E?
Oh, yeah, Mach E. I'm sorry. Yep, you're right. Thank you. Ford says 1,258 Mustang Mach E's are affected in the U.S. as well as 90 in Canada. But the overall...
How do they know the exact numbers?
Probably because of pre-orders. But the overwhelming majority of those have not been shipped to customers yet. Yep, that's why.
Oh.
Fewer than 75 customers who have already taken delivery will have to bring their Mustang Mach E in to get fixed. Okay. So that's a thing. You know, apparently Ford does not have the best track record when it comes to like safety. Oh, and this will make you laugh, Zach. So this is a product from Elgato.
Is it for gamers?
Kind of. Oops. I still can't hit the right buttons today.
Oh, you know what really irritates me?
Here you go, Zach.
What? Oh, I know exactly what this is for. It's like a thing with streamers now. They're like, there's like keyboard cams, so you can like see what their fingers are doing on the keyboard. I don't understand. You know, honestly, the only reason I could see for such a thing is so you can like, maybe you're really, really good, and you need to show everyone you're not cheating.
It's so you can.
I don't know.
It's so you can chroma key something else in under your keyboard and mouse.
Oh, wait, it's not. Oh, I thought it was this camera mount. So it's this green screen underneath
It's the green screen mouse mat.
Oh, that's dumb. That's really dumb. Like, okay, fine. But, like, why do we... the keyboard cam is the most bizarre thing ever. Like,
no.
I don't care what your hands are doing.
I'm talking about the chroma key, desk mat here.
That's ridiculous. But all right, sure. Whatever. Green mouse pad. Amazing.
Yeah, it's basically a green screen.
God.
There are only so many features you can tweak on a mouse mat. And they typically break down into size, materials used, and shape, but Elgato came up with a new way to differentiate its latest mouse mat by allowing it to double as a green screen. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
It now offers a new opportunity to not only show off a game being played, but how you're controlling it without impacting the footage too much. Okay. Let's see.
So, speaking of gaming products,
hey,
I'm trying to get a desk,
how much do you
right?
think? How much do you think this costs?
$50.
No. It's only $30.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that's the price of a mouse pad. I don't know. I've seen some mouse pads that go that much. They're usually large ones, but.
All right. Yeah. Let's wrap this up. And but anyway, what was your question?
So I'm trying to get a desk, right?
Okay.
And I really like so there's a style of desk that I like. That's like that's like they call them, a lot of branding calls it T-shaped, right?
Oh,
just two legs on the sides, right?
Okay, wait, hang on. T-shape.
But the vast majority, like 95% of them I find online, they're all just freakishly gamer branded crap. And I just find myself thinking like, gee, I'd buy that if it wasn't covered in gamer cringe. Gee, I'd buy that if it didn't say gaming all over it.
Are you talking something that looks like this?
No. That would be like a two-person desk, I guess.
You said T-shaped desk.
No, but it would be the other, like, vertically T-shaped. Okay, hold on. I'll send you an image. Look at that, right? Like, that style of desk. I like that style of desk. But look at that horrible branding.
Oh, this
Look at that. What is that? That is awful. Side note, whose computer case looks like that? That is even more awful.
Okay. So basically what you want is a
I actually found one that I kind of like that I think I'm going to buy.
It's basically just like every standing desk out there.
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
Oop. That didn't work. Yeah, something like this.
So this is kind of what I'm thinking. The thing on the top is like a mouse pad. You don't have to have it. So it's just generic, right?
Okay, I like the way this looks.
Yeah, exactly. I do too. I think I'm going to buy that one. But I also looked at... Oh, what else did I look at? I looked at this one, I think.
Hang on, let me show this off. So, okay, this looks nice.
What's this other one? This other one doesn't expand for some reason. But anyway, it's like adjustable, and I don't really need adjustable, but it looks really sturdy and good, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I showed you my desk, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Mine is a custom built desk.
You did.
So I decided to go custom built. Just because it worked out for what I wanted. I don't know. Look, okay, how much does that desk cost?
Which desk?
I don't know, just a style like that. How much does something like that cost?
Well, the one that I'm thinking of is $159.
Okay, it's not a horrible price. How long?
60 inches.
Put that in feet for me, please.
5 feet?
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Math whiz.
Well, it's just 12 times 5 is...
60. No, you don't get the reference there.
I guess not.
Remember that time we were talking about these
I don't have too long, so let's go.
I know. What was it? Oh, it was these robotic vending machine things on like a California campus. And I have a clip of this somewhere, but
Gosh, this is such a specific thing, but carry on. I don't think I remember.
I was talking about they can travel so far on a single charge, and it was like miles or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, you're a math whiz, Zach, figure that out. And you're like, no, I'm not.
Oh. I really don't fancy myself a mathematician.
You don't remember this?
Sorry. Oh, maybe. I don't recall.
I'll have to send you the clip.
I don't think I do.
We'll have to send you the clip.
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, you were like, no, I'm not. I hate math.
Yeah, I said that, I'm sure. I don't really like math.
Oh, man. Okay. I mean, I was going to say, like... Oh, wait, how much did you say that was? Like 150?
160.
That's not a horrible price.
No, it's not. The adjustable one's like 250. I don't think I need that. But I liked how sturdy it looked.
I was going to say, that is... You want a sturdy desk? My desk is sturdy.
Yeah,
this thing ain't going anywhere.
I would like a sturdy desk.
Dude, this thing is like, literally like... I don't know. What is this? Like 2 inches? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it'll be fine.
Like 2 inches thick. Like that's how thick the tabletop for my desk is.
In any case, I don't like that my options are quite limited because of all this gamer crap floating around. Like,
see, and this is part of the reason why I decided, because I knew I wanted something custom. Well,
Who buys this?
Or actually, no, I didn't know I needed something custom. But the problem was that everything that I was looking for in a desk, just like I couldn't find or wasn't viably wasn't economical. So I just built what I wanted. Look, this desk isn't perfect. There are definitely some things that I would change about this. And I may still change in the future. We'll see. I have considered wiping out one of the sets of desks in here, or shelves in here, and replacing it with like a foot. And then just leaving one side with, what is it? With the set of drawers. But I don't know. If I had a smaller case and some other stuff, I'd have a little bit more room where I kind of sit and things like that. What would be nice about the feet is that I could actually slide back and forth from side to side and then actually pull my chair all the way in. Which would be nice if I have like somebody else, like, over or something like that, and they needed a workspace. They could do that. But anyway, no, so that's the reason I decided to just do something custom, which is still an option for you, Zach.
I don't think I'm doing that.
So, I will say there was a little bit of time and effort that went into doing the tabletop, because I had to stain it and sand it and seal it. So, there was a little work that went into that, but other than that, but yeah, I mean, by all means, if you've got something that's gonna like already pre-made and that's gonna work for you, go for it. What I was looking for didn't exist, and so I made it. So, anyway, but yeah, okay. I gotta get rolling. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next week, I think. Yeah, we should.